to you. Thank you very much for joining us on our fresh edition of the program Newspaper Review on ITVS. My name is Eyitayo Folorunsho, and of course, this is where we take a look at some of the trending matters, especially in Nigeria. Well, we'll take a look at some of these issues just to bring you latest and, of course, to keep you abreast of whatever is happening. Okay, so today won't be an exception. We'll be having a wonderful time together. And I have my guest in the house. Tola Shofulue is there with me. Good morning, Tola. How are you today?
Yes, I'm good and grateful. Good morning, Eyitayo. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Oyo State. Good morning, everyone.
We have different newspapers today, but we'll be starting from Leadership newspaper. Leadership is actually flashing something very important. Remember yesterday we talked about the story of a lady, a secondary school lady, who was alleged to have forged her result. And yesterday, we were looking at the fact that would it be possible, for any student to hack into JAMB's portal, to change or to manipulate results. And my guest was of the opinion that there are human factors in Nigeria, so anything could actually happen, at this particular time. But then the story has developed over the time with accusations and counter accusations. The lady came up this morning to say that she actually printed a result from the JAMB portal. And at the same time, the family of that lady, the family members have alleged conspiracy as JAMB bans candidate for 3 years. We were talking about the consequences of this yesterday and stuff like that. So the lady is saying that she had never, ever manipulated anything. At the same time, so many Nigerians have the opinion that the DSS, JAMB, and some other concerned agencies did not really do proper investigation. They didn't invite the lady. They didn't do any other thing before coming out to say that it was a fake result. So there are issues right now. But then we were trying to track and to follow up, with this particular story. And it is saying that following the controversy generated by a candidate of Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME, Ejikeme Mesuma, who had reportedly forged and inflated a result, the family of the student yesterday stood behind their daughter, claiming that there was a conspiracy to deny her head-end academic success. All right. So let's begin from here today.
Well, thank you very much. Like I said yesterday, right here in our space, anything is possible, because you can't rule out the human factor. Even when you have the system on ground, when you have the machines, when you have technology, there are humans behind the technology that, make technology actually work and deliver whatever you want them to deliver. It is garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
And then as touching this, it's quite unfortunate. This development is quite heart-sickening. The reason is this: the lady must have been traumatized.
Yes, she said it this morning, and that she's actually traumatized.
And as the way things are going, she's already stigmatized. And that's where the problem is. Now, she has a name, she's an entity, she's a personality, she's sat for an exam, and she's insisting that she never did any of such thing. And the parents came out to let us know that she's been an A scorer from her primary school days.
Yeah.
So now, if we go by that, of course, such can be confirmed.
Looking at the precedents,
I think such things can be confirmed. And also, I said, now remember, I made mention of this yesterday, that JAMB has a long way to go. If a young lady of that status has been alleged of going that far to tamper with the server, with whatever software it was that she allegedly was said to have used, I think JAMB has a long way to go. On the other hand, I think Anambra State government
Yeah.
had set up an investigative panel to look into this
All
because they were already making a move to honor
lady. Yeah.
that young lady.
Yeah.
And I think inconsistencies of JAMB also cannot be ruled out because, back then, I remember about 4 years ago, thereabout, there was a time that the date they fixed for the exams clashed with a WAEC date. And if JAM couldn't handle something as little as administrative, issue like that back then anything can happen. I remember a particular young chap, was talking about the first time he went to check his result, on the portal, he got, I think, 241 or something. By the time he went back to check, he found 270 something there. So we can't rule out the inconsistencies of JAM. What we are saying is, the first point of education for a child is the home.
Okay.
Because the impressionable years, the first 4 or 5 years, the educators are the parents.
All right.
So, and once the moral standard has been installed into a child, then you can send him or her out to go for the formal education out there.
Okay.
So now, if the parent would come out and let us know that, basically, she went to a Christian school. I beg to, to digress a bit. I'm not sentimental when it has to do with religion, okay? Now, in that kind of a school, basically, they must have been taught the basics of morality, and then, the basics of, doing things the right way. You can do the right thing the wrong way. So she must have been taught how to keep right.
Okay.
So building up with the precedence of a result, I think this has to be looked into so that, and if JAMB is found wanting, I think, this lady will get more than 3 million naira compensation she got from Innocence Motors. And the Anambra State is about to honor her, and I hope that they will get a very, very capable lawyer to look into this for them, because this is a very, very serious allegation against this young lady. If it's either way, investigation should be deepened, and they should get to the root of it, as proposed by the Anambra State government. Nigerians are waiting to get the final outcome of this whole thing, and it's going to be a template for or rather it's going to help JAM to keep right.
I quite understand that if there is any controversy like this in higher institutions, there is a way, the management could actually go back to the script of the lady, and they will be able to unearth the marks and stuff. But I am not sure JAM has that option at this time. But then it's still a developing story. It is actually a developing story.
Yes, so because we can't really conclude now. We can't lay hold on what is really happening until they come out with the outcome of the investigation. So, but I propose that it should be deeply investigated.
All right, let's wait so that we can be able to save the face of the lady and the image. The image of that particular lady. All right, let's move away from that story. The Presidential Election Petition Court, that's PEPC, yesterday admitted as exhibit the final report of the European Union Election Observer Mission faulting the conduct and outcome of the 2023 presidential election. Yesterday we talked about it, and of course that report actually faulted the process and the patterns of votings, failures of machines, beavers to work, and human and machine logistics, and still so far so good. Yesterday you were of the opinion that the European Union couldn't have been able to cover extensively or efficiently the processes of the election, and they might not be in the best position to judge what actually.
Yes, they
But then the report had been admitted now against the incumbent president
it's
of Nigeria.
the report is just admitted.
Yeah.
It has not been enacted against him. Okay. The point is this. Yes, they have their discoveries, they have their submissions, they have their observations
Yeah.
submitted now. But the point is this. Yes, we can learn from some of the stuffs they submitted, but what I'm saying is this: it is still our space. We have the prerogative, the judiciary has the prerogative of looking into it, and doing justice to it the way they deem fit.
All right.
But the point is this: we really cannot conclude now because it's still in the court.
Okay.
We really cannot conclude.
Okay.
So we're just expecting that democracy that is ongoing will play out very well in such a way that we will get the very best, from the judiciary.
All right.
So we can only keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed and let's see. On the front page of The Nation, there is this issue of a popular professor who was actually murdered. He was actually murdered. Yeah, Professor Isaac Ajewale.
Ajewale.
Yes, if you have been following the story, really, what actually happened was that what we heard about his story was that he closed from work and he was actually going home, and it was as if they were waiting for him at the entrance of his house, and right there he was actually murdered. And they didn't go with his car. They had to drag away his corpse and stuff like that, And the Academic Staff Union of Universities are actually saying that you have to fish out the killers of this man. But even up to this particular time, there is no arrest made so far, and it seems nothing is going on. Looking at the precedents of killers on the prowl in Nigeria, they kill and most times they go scot-free. I could still remember what happened during the time of the late Chief Bola Ige,
okay. I was going to talk
Dele
about.
Giwa, and the likes of the killers of those people are yet to be identified,
And
even up to this time.
And they are not likely to be identified till eternity, because where we see this is what I call systemic error. When there is error in a system, anything will go wrong. Because the center is not holding in the judiciary. The center is not holding. And Chinua Achebe said in one of his books, when the center does not hold, things fall apart.
Yeah.
So until the center begins to hold, we can't really have things intact. Now everything is collapsing. Who killed Bola? Who murdered late Chief Bola Ige? Who murdered Dele Giwa?
Yeah.
Till tomorrow, they are still, these are dead cases.
Yeah.
That are not likely to be resuscitated.
They are dead cases.
Sincerely. Now, who murdered, Chief MK Abiola?
All right.
What were the circumstances surrounding his death?
His death.
Who killed Kudirat Abiola? So, the list is endless. So, this is another victim of circumstances, victim of a systemic error, victim of irresponsible government, victim of irresponsible, security apparatus in a nation called Nigeria.
All right.
So, it's another unfortunate situation. And the only thing you get from the government is, abueno atelu ishele no. That's in Yoruba language. They just express their condemnation of that act, but the act is done already.
Okay.
So when do we come to a point where we begin to deal with these issues, decisively? I remember Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, just called the chief, the security chiefs, in for a meeting, and I think the earlier they step out to make things happen, the better, because every day people get killed. Across the geopolitical zones we have in the nation, people get killed till yesterday. So people get killed. But this has to stop. Now, we really can't, say precisely what happened. Well, because, when you are in the, there's corruption everywhere. When you're in the academic, sector, you have your friends, you have your enemies,
Yeah.
and it could be within or without.
Yeah.
It could be, within the, you understand what I'm saying? It could be within the students, it could be with anybody. Because there's no how you run like that. I mean, climbing the ladder, into professorship, you must have stepped on toes,
On
here
toes,
and
yeah.
there. So we can't rule that reality out. And on the other hand, insecurity is like one of the cheapest things, in our space right now. So we don't know what actually transpired, between the man and the killers.
It was an outright.
I mean, we just pray that this will stop, as soon as possible, because you don't know who the next victim will be in a situation, that we have found ourselves.
All right, the spate of insecurity actually is actually increasing, growing in the country right now. No one knows who is going to be the next, and that is really a very serious issue. Well, we'll take a pause here, and coming next is Political Wavelength, and we'll be moving into that program any time from now. I want to say thank you to Tola Shefoluwe for coming around on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes,
by
10 o'clock tomorrow, we will have new stories for you again. Stories must have developed as we were talking, actually. Something was actually breaking on the front page of The Punch, and that is a particular lawyer threatening to sue JAMB if JAMB will not retract, the statement and stuff like that, the ban and some other things.
The 3-year
like
ban on
Ejike, and saying that JAMB should actually apologize, to Mesoma or face legal action.
I think JAMB should do that, because you can't, your pen shouldn't be faster than your brain.
Yeah.
That's the way I see. Your pen should not be faster than your brain. They should have done their homework very well before coming out with that verdict. Okay, 3 years ban, and that's huge.
Maybe they were really in a haste because they didn't want the encomiums and the gifts and stuff to,
well,
okay. Yes, like I said, Political Wavelength will be coming very shortly. Thank you, Tola, for coming around.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. Okay, so tomorrow also newspaper review will be coming 10 o'clock. My name is Eyi Tayo Folorunsho. Thank you for watching.